From to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Thank you so much for standing by. It's still Atlantic Television Network and Atlantic Blowout. My guest with me in the studio first off is one of our regulars on ATN Blowouts. That's Loveday Operum. He is the coordinator of the Agri-Graduate Association of Nigeria, River State chapter. He's also a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Loveday.
Good morning, Ini. Thank you for having me. You're looking wonderful as usual.
Thank you so much for coming. You know, we're always wearing colors that fit.
Yeah.
Yes, our colors, they're not the same, but they blend.
They complement each other.
And then we also have joined us via Zoom, Kenneth Eze. He is an agro expert also and a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Kenneth. Yes, Kenneth, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, Jackson. Good morning, and good morning to the guests. I'm so happy to join you on this program today.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. And Loveday is also saying good morning to you. Okay, I must.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, before we move on to our first story, I must tell us that today is International Girl Child Day. And the way it was back then when we talk about the girl child is not the same way it is. We have so many girl child advocates out there. And I am believing that it's having a new face. And it's talking about, that's the theme for today or this year, it's talking about the vision for the girl child. Loveday, how do you think, what improvements have you really seen with the numerous girl child advocates that we have out there, with the way the society actually views the girl child?
Well, I believe responding to that particular question, I like to take Nigeria as a case study. What we have witnessed in Nigeria, you know, the issue of girls' child improvement or advancement has not really yielded the expected result, going by, you know, what we see among our girl children. Well, it's not just peculiar to the girl child. I think the issue of the nation, the status of the nation, and the philosophy of development in the nation has a very serious impact on the girl child. However, I will commend the advocacy group, those that are advocating for girl child. In that area, there has been a kind of a significant improvement, unlike what we used to have before, where you hardly see people advocating for, you know, the girl child, you know, promoting gender inclusiveness and all of that. But in recent time, I think there has been advancement in that area. Okay. So what is left is for what they have been advocating for to now, you know, begin for we to start seeing it manifest.
When you say what they're advocating for, and I'm wondering what that is, but let me quickly hear Kenneth on this one in like 30 seconds. Kenneth.
Okay, you know, the girl child is very, very important to us society because they are like, let me use the word mother hen. Without them, we won't have more generations to come. There won't be childbirth, there won't be another human being. So once the advocacy, the effect that had is not really that much, given the importance of the girl child. Well, I believe there are lots of much engagements that should be done. Everybody should be talking about this, but it seems only the women have been advocating for this girl child relevance and importance. I think if the men could really join hands, you know, this is everybody's business. I think we have left that job for only the women alone. We should all know that this is very important as well, because they are prone to some kind of exposures that are not really good. People see them as a weaker vessel. So it is our duty to really advocate for these things, to make sure that we are all speaking with the same voice, the same measure, the same pressure, the same everything. We should be equal. Let everybody keep speaking for the girl child. Thank you.
Thank you once again. We know that a lot of ladies are, you know, achieving feats that we never thought would be able to achieve it in the past. We see ladies doing so much. So happy International Girl Child Day to every girl child out there. All right, let's move on to Lagos State. The Lagos State's First Lady, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, inducted over 700 students from primary and secondary schools into the Young Farmers Club, aiming to foster a passion for agriculture among the youth. This initiative supports Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu's vision to encourage students to embark or embrace modern farming techniques and contribute to national food security and economic diversification. Speaking at the induction ceremony that was held in conjunction with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems to celebrate World Food Day, Dr. Sanwo-Olu emphasized agriculture's critical role in Nigeria's economy, calling it a vital foundation for sustenance. All right, remember that during her speech, she praised Senator Tinubu's commitment. She praised Tinubu's commitment to enhancing the lives of Nigerian families through various initiatives. All right, this is an achievement in this particular field when we talk about agriculture, but I would like to get your thoughts on this story, how you think this will get to impact the lives, especially the lives of these students, the 700 students, over 700 students that have been inducted in this club.
You know, we won't stop talking about agriculture and food production so long as there is life, and then we want Nigeria to thrive and to grow. Agriculture is one paramount sector that we cannot do without. You know, at times when we look at agricultural moves, development initiatives and policies by relevant government agencies, both private and the public sector, you know, when we analyze some of them, we discover that there's always a gap in some of those policies. Now, what Lagos State government or the First Lady of Lagos State is doing is not out of place. It's not new also. While we commend that initiative, we must not also fail to pinpoint some essential thing that needs to be considered. You induct 700, students into the Young Farmers Club. That's powerful. That's wonderful. But can this particular student toe that line as they begin to grow, as they begin to advance? What actually can they see? What can influence them? What can motivate them to now venture into that particular sector? You know, we keep telling the government that the government has to live by example. It is a laudable initiative, it's a very good one, but I am considering the current state of Nigeria, the way Nigerian economy and the way agricultural development in Nigeria has been. After this initiative, once the student leaves secondary school, how many of them are at the point of preparing for admission into higher institution? How many of them will want to voluntarily, take up agriculture as a field of study?
Are you talking about the activities in that particular club not being encouraging enough to make the children want to endeavor in agriculture?
I'm going to get to where I'm going to. That's part of it. Okay, let me quickly hit the nail on the head. Now, setting up Young Farmers Club or inducting students into Young Farmers Club is not the major motivating factor. Students, human beings, are easily influenced by what they see, which has a major role to play, in determining their level of conviction. Now, if at the end of the day, Ministry of Agriculture has no place, has no significant farm, producing farms that will encourage this to look, what we are telling you people is working, we are doing it. Believe me, it will just be a mere ceremony. So the government should go beyond whoever that is ready to invest in agriculture. We commend that. But we should go beyond the point of just telling people to do it. How about you? Are you doing it? The one you're doing, how sustainable is it? What's the impact of what you're doing? Can people say, yes, we know you for this particular activity. We know that this is what you're producing. So that is what we should be looking at. Once this is done, believe me, people on their own will be longing for. Agriculture has come to the point where we don't need to beg people. We don't need to make agriculture look like a less appreciated discipline or cause. If we want to boost agriculture, there is need for practical, and decisive move. Something that people should, see and then commend the gesture. Why I'm sounding like this? Because as an agriculturist, as a professional in this field, the issue of Young Farmers Club is not new. And we are beginning to think that some personalities use it just to, you know, just to let it be that, let the public see that we are doing something agricultural wise.
Okay.
And
let me quickly bring Kenneth into this one. The activities in the Young Farmers Club, are you aware of any? Because Love Day has made reference to this. Some people just using it as camouflage to just show that they are working in whatever field or leadership position that they have. But are you aware of any of these activities in the Young Farmers Club? Do they do practicals? I'd like to get your thoughts on this one.
Okay, I really love what he's saying. You know, the point of what he's trying to make is sustainability. It's not about just saying you're inducting 700 students into Farmers Club. What about the existing farmers group? What about the Young Farmers Association that has been there? Then, how does it 700 do? Was it selected from the states? You know, you can't just come up and get something out of nothing. It must be something for others to rest on. So what I thought should have been the best is for the university should have found some youth Young Farmers Association groups already exist. Like ours, we have many state Young Farmers Association, and I believe we have found all farmers associations of Nigeria. So what there are already systems and structures that are governing these things. What the first lady of should have done is just go through these means, go through these systems, go through these structures, so that it doesn't be another elementary project. You know? So what we are saying is that I haven't even seen some of these things happening. Like when they say they each home a garden, that they are going to get the best garden to 20 million award. You know, I was thinking that the social media that puts up some states, how people are gardening, showing some people, then showing how they cannot get the best home that will win that award. So nothing has been done. So we are thinking about how can they find the best garden and award the 20 million that they have said they will give. As we are still bothering and thinking about that, we are hearing this one again and those students have been inducted to the Farmers Club. How? You know, things are not too still Farmers Club really. Okay, like ours now, I know this year we are going to secondary schools to teach them sack farming, to teach them modern means of farming. And I've already written a letter to my first lady of my state telling her that we are ready to work with her so that this renewed home initiative of His Excellency the President can survive. But the way it's being done, it seems as if it's some other politics that are trying to play. It seems as if they are not yet serious to tackle the problem. This is the fire brigade approach to what is happening now. The extent of food insecurity in Nigeria doesn't need this kind of approach. We should go deeper. We should go deeper. There are already existing young farmers club in Nigeria. You know, so why can't she just go through those means, ask them what have you been doing so far, what are your challenges, let's come in, because I believe the person is going farmer. So where is she getting this information?
Okay, let me come in here now, Kenneth. Let me come in now. Remember that she did not do this alone. This is in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture. So if there was any loophole or any structure that she needed to follow, like you have said, the Ministry of Agriculture supporting, what happened to them coming in there? Because that is their field. They're the experts in that particular field.
Okay, yes. Now, see, now we now have what they call civil service bureaucracy. Now, this information is not trickling down to the grassroots. If at the Abuja level, the federal level, they have said, okay, they want to put this through the Ministry of Agriculture, what about the state? Is it getting to the state? Because I know for sure that my state is not doing this, and I know for sure that there are several states that have not heard about this, and they have not feeding into this initiative. So what are they doing? So it boils down to the initiator of this idea. Everything rises and falls on leadership, according to what John Maxwell would say. So what I'm saying is that it boils down on the first lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to now say, okay, this is where we are erring. Why can't we involve these commissioners in the different states so that They cannot ask how we can get this thing to make it effective. This is good, but it's not effective.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts on that one.
It's effective.
Okay. I love that. He
Yes.
talked about going deeper. And you know, I saw you nodding affirmation to
Yeah.
that particular statement, going deeper.
You know, we that are into advocacy will keep talking, even when it seems some of the things we're talking is not being adhered to. But somehow, when you see some policies, you just feel okay. We're making a little moves. You know, when we talk about, or like my colleague said about going deeper, it goes beyond the periphery, just setting up or inducting. And that's the point I was trying to make. Issue of sustainability, there are structures. You know, I'm somehow worried that when it comes to field of agriculture, you know, the way you see people act or behave, it appears as if there are no professionals in the field. Because once you engage the right professional, they know what to do. The right professionals know what to do. Going deeper simply means partnership and trying to make do with the existing structures.
Who could be the better person to partner with than the Ministry of Agriculture?
Now that is the problem we're also having. Now the Ministry of Agriculture is there. But if you critically look at that ministry, you discover that, you know, some of the ministries of agriculture, not all, you discover that they lack professionalism in the field of agriculture. And the reason is simply as a result of, you know, those core professionals not manning sensitive position. And the issue of, let's just do it to please the government of the day. In recent time, I've seen that, especially in the Ministry of Agriculture, they do not scrutinize and critically assess government policies on agriculture because they want to retain their office as commissioners or whatever. But it's not supposed to be so. You are a professional. You have been engaged, you know, to oversee the operations of that particular field. So once the government comes up with a policy, peradventure the government imports knowledge from abroad, like we also know they do at times, without considering what is obtainable. You are there to say, oh, my boss, this one will not work here. If you're a core professional, this particular knowledge will not, this one will not flow. It will not sell within our geographical location. But in a situation whereby the professional, the person manning that particular ministry is not a core professional, what do you expect? So everything goes. Whatever that is being presented, they will swallow hook, line, and sinker. And let me also state it here. We have also heard, we have also seen where some of the blueprint released by the government, you know, that has to do with the Ministry of Agriculture, Agricultural Development, were not authored by the ministry. At times they hire consultants. Sometimes their media aid goes online, extract materials and compile, and then they push to. It's wrong. It's wrong. That is some of the things that is also affecting agriculture in Nigeria and some of the states. So once you want to develop a blueprint, it shouldn't come from top to bottom. It should come from the bottom. I'm talking about agriculture at the state level. The Minister of Agriculture is where this policy should come. And the Minister of Agriculture will not also raise the policy. They will have to pass through the extension agent, get to the grassroots, get to the farmers, you know, get insight via the extension agent. This is what the farmers are going through. This is the kind of technology, this is the challenge that the farmers are having. Okay, this is where we are agriculturally on so and so enterprise, and this is where we intend to move. That's how the information should flow. And then it gets to the State Minister of Agriculture. They will now fine-tune and present to the Executive Council or to the government, who will now do the final touching and do amendment where necessary, depending on the philosophy and agenda of that particular government. So, talking about agriculture in general terms, we are very much worried that issue that has to do with agriculture by the government, you know, are not being handled professionally. We know what to do. We know what should be done. So when we see things not going the way it should go, at times we find it difficult to talk or to explain, because even the time given on the media will not be enough to digest and analyze some of these
like
things.
Enidoye now is telling you, okay, let's move on. But then back to what the First Lady has done. She did this to improve, that's to help the children get interested in agriculture.
We are not seeing it like, see, everybody knows that food is important. That's the point I want Nigerians to understand and our government. There is no child that will go to school without it and the child will feel comfortable. So the children knows that food is important, and all they need to know is that what will help to put food on your table is agriculture.
But you're not building that interest in the next generation.
The interest won't just come by some of this ceremony we do. Do you know where the interest will come? Once the student and the children start seeing that our government is doing so and so thing on agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture has so and so farm. As you're talking to them, you're taking them, they are seeing things for themselves.
Okay, let me also ask Kenneth what he expects, right? How do we get to build this interest in these children? Remember the aim for what she has done. Let's look at what you expected and how exactly you feel this interest can be better built in these children.
Number one is school garden. What happens with school? What can they be school garden, school farm, not in school? What can they have smart schools that have the technology that respects seeds and siblings? So these are the things that inspire interest in young people that are still in school. Not this to me sounds like normal thing that they do. If you want to actually get this thing right, they go to the schools. Let all the secondary schools, nursery schools, primary schools catch them young. Start giving them assignments on their school gadgets.
Isn't that what they will be doing in this farmers club? Isn't that part of the activities that they carry out in the farmers club?
That is the aim of this farmers club is to inspire interest in agriculture, I believe so. It's not a club to come and talk and discuss agriculture. Agriculture is practical. Agriculture is a culture. It's not where we come and have meetings and talk and break cola nuts and drink and go home. No. As a farmer, one should live and wake up in his farmland. The reason why we have start farming is we are bringing agriculture to the home of everybody. So this should just be something that they say and we are doing this and it goes. But let's see the impact. Let's start well. Once we start well, we finish well. They should go back to the nursery schools, go back to the secondary schools, go back to the
All right, Kenneth, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Loved it. Before we move on, I would still like you to tell us what you expect.
Okay, what I expect is quite simple.
In bringing the next generation in.
Yes. It's quite simple. Agriculture is not to be verbalized. It's not something that is just, to be written. Agriculture is something that should be done. It's a doing course. Agriculture is a profession that you need to go into it. You need to do it yourself. Young Farmers Club is not new, like I said before. We had, prior to this time, proposed to the state government that we are ready to establish school farms across the schools.
Really?
Yes, in Riverside, but nothing was done. You see, that is why when we talk, it's like we talk too much. We're not talking too much, especially I, for one. We know the little effort we have made in order to ensure that agriculture comes to limelight. And that's why I can say boldly that most of our government, they are not yet ready to advance agriculture.
And to think that some of these public schools have the land, they have the field.
But there is no
and then
platform.
They have a teacher who teaches agriculture. So I'm wondering what they teach the children aside from theory
before you wonder the curriculum, what is it like? You understand the point? What's the curriculum like? Do we have provision for practicals? Do we have provision for core assessment based on practical? Yeah. So what I expect is that there should be more of practical. For instance, the picture we saw, if we had seen vegetable farms, maize farms grown by a Young Farmers Club, good, I would have applauded the initiative. That means it is not new, and that is why this one will not make us change our philosophy.
Thank you.
It has been there, and if up till now there is nothing to show that this is what Young Farmers Club has been producing, that means it's still one of those political systems.
It's still not to say that Young Farmers Club have not produced anything or carried out any practicals at all. But let's move on to the next story. The Federal High Court in Lagos has dismissed the suit filed by the Manufacturers Association Nigeria MAN challenging the increase in electricity tariffs for Band A customers. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, stated that the case was struck out because man failed to exhaust the dispute resolution mechanisms outlined in the Electricity Act 2023, making the lawsuit premature and an abuse of court process. Man had contested the tariff hike, which was implemented in April 2024, claiming that the procedures of the tariff review were not properly followed. They also argued that applying the increase solely to Band A feeders who receive at least 20 hours electricity daily was discriminatory. However, the court failed in favor of NERC, or the court ruled in favor of NERC, upholding the tariff increase. Love Day, where do we begin from here? Because I know that a lot of people, when they heard about this, they're like, oh, thank God, it seems like there's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Seriously, I'm telling you, and I was even also warming up to follow suit, because like in my own area, I've always advocated and believe that what will help to address the issue of, let me use the word, unreasonable electricity tariff, is just a court process, to initiate a legal action against the PHED, like in our own zone. You call it estimated, and we have asked, what are the parameters for estimation? Now, for those using a prepaid meter, you see them increasing tariff. Some of them are no longer comfortable to. They move you to, you must get your prepaid. And some of them have gotten the prepaid, even when we are aware they're supposed to be provided, by the organization or the company.
You have to pay huge for it.
Now you have to pay, definitely. Now at the end of the day, they are also charging you something that you can't really explain. Now, the issue of electricity and the exorbitant charges is unheard of, is something else. Hearing that the case was, dismissed for not following due process or properly consulted is like loss of hope to most Nigerians. I, for one, because I was thinking that most of Nigerians, most of us consumers, that we are suffering because we have not actually leveraged on the legal provisions and all of that. We've not challenged some of the things we are passing through in court. But hearing this, even without the court trying to investigate and analyze some things, well, is quite unfortunate. I don't know where we're heading to from here.
It's their investigation that brought up the talks about the dialogue process not being completely
but you also
utilized and all of that.
You also saw or heard man's position.
Yes.
Even when the tariff was increased, from their own angle too, there were no there wasn't due process. Due process was not followed. So how do we balance the equation now?
Kenneth, I don't know what band you're on. First of all, love the what band are you on? Because the way you're talking, it seems like you're on band A.
Yeah.
You're on band A.
In my business place, that's where I am. Then while in my residential apartment, I'm I think band D or there also. Yeah, band D. So there we don't even expect electricity. Wow. Anytime you see, you take.
Okay, Kenneth, can you hear me? Kenneth, do we still have you here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. For the electricity tariff hike and the increase so far, ever since the month when it was announced, how has this really affected you as a Nigerian?
We need the electricity tariff, the hike in it. Okay, well, it's been good. I think it's one of the good things that's done is that there's always power. There's always power, but you now pay. You pay higher than expected. So we don't even know. It's like between the devil and the red pussy. You don't know which one to take. Is it that they reduce the tariff hike and increase the light, or to increase the power supply and reduce the tariff hike?
But so you're saying you have had increased hours of light. That's increased hours of power supply, right?
Exactly. Yes. That is the advantage of it.
So what band are you?
You don't pay double. You don't pay triple the amount you paid before. See? So it's like a difficult decision to make.
Very difficult.
So far so good. We are getting there. Let them be constant power supply, and let our income be increased. Let the sustenance of life what sustains us, let them be employment, let them be job creation, let them be wealth creation. I believe that the issue of the high pay and the electricity tariff won't be a problem. The major concern is let them be power. There are some persons that are willing to work hard to make sure that they pay so that they can be constant 24-hour power supply. So once there's power supply, what we can do is that, okay, let's work hard to make sure we meet up with the target. That is just my take on it.
All right, you sound like one of those Nigerians that will say, you know what, it doesn't matter how much you want me to pay for this, just give me lights, give me power. Okay. I'm reading your mind. All right, but it's not looking like Love Day has the same thought here.
Yeah, you know, like my colleagues Ken said over there, is it all boils down. There's no person that doesn't want power, good power supply. But when you consider what you earn, what comes into your hand at the end of the month or daily, and what you expected to pay, it becomes a major challenge.
Right.
There's nobody that doesn't want light.
Okay.
So the issue here is the state of the economy, what Nigerians are passing through. If you're going to provide, 20 hours minimum, power supply for those that are on band A, and if at the end of the day the business environment is not favorable, there is no job, you're living in an area that is being covered with band A, and then you're not doing a very good job, or you're working, and because of the tight economic situation, people that are supposed to patronize you are not, where will you get the money to pay from? So is it that the equation cannot be balanced until, even when the government tries to do the needful in terms of providing jobs, creating more industry, the equation may not really be balanced. However, the issue of power supply is one paramount thing that Nigerians have been advocating for, just like the issue of fuel, petrol. But the challenge we are now having is on the price. So there should be some form of review and special consideration, knowing that most persons that are supposed or that are beneficiary of this particular initiative currently does not have the capacity to handle the financial...
All right, so like you said, make jobs available.
That is it.
Improve the living of Nigerians, and then they'll be able to afford the power.
Sure.
Can I come in there?
Come in, please.
Okay, thank you. The Bible, God said, the first thing God said was, let there be light. And there was light. And it started to God things. So I want us to... I know who followers should do that. There are some things we shouldn't be expecting the government to do for us. Yes, let's have it at the back of our mind is that there are some things that we can do for ourselves. For example, I'm not siding with government, I'm not siding anybody, but what I'm saying is, once they can give us a good power supply and a good internet, we can imagine what Nigeria is going to do.
Did you say and good internet?
Good internet supply,
Okay.
yes.
Network.
That's
okay.
network.
Yes.
Yes, these things come with, when it's technological world. Like I want to tell people now that agriculture has gone from the hand to the head. Yes, everything is modernized. So if you have good power supply, have good source of internet, good Wi-Fi, my brother and sister, you imagine what your children will tell you.
Please, when you say the free Wi-Fi, is it one we're expecting from the government, or is it part of the things you say we can provide for ourselves?
No, that is what I'm saying, what government can do for us.
Oh, okay.
Because we are free for us. Because we are going to make sure that we have security. One, then we have control power supply of life and good internet. But we do our best. We have done it.
All right, thank you so much, Kenneth. Free Wi-Fi. How do you?
That's for those in the digital world now.
But everybody should have something to do with the digital world right now.
Everybody should, but
that's where we are.
Yeah, but everybody cannot.
Even agriculture has gone digital.
Definitely.
So tell me how you're not. Aren't you there?
Where Nigeria has not gotten to the point where everybody at this point, maybe in the next few years to come, because we still have some of our age parents still living. And some of them, they need the manual means to survive and all of that. So once you say if government provide electricity, 24 hours electricity, give us free Wi-Fi, that the government can go and rest. No, those that are not in this. So the government needs to balance the equation. There are other, developmental projects, but definitely, like he said, power is very much key.
All right.
Power is critical. But aside power provision of improved power supply, the government should also do some other developmental project that will impact. Governance should be all about impacting the people, not minding your level of exposure and experience. And that is why when we begin to talk about the project that directly impacts the people that should be done by the government, power comes in, road infrastructure, of course, hospital, rural hospitals and all of that. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Love Day. Let's go to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. They have removed the requirement for married women to present spousal approval for visa clearance. This rule, which was introduced due to concerns in certain countries, has been eliminated following a recent review of the visa clearance procedure. NDLEA announced that the updated process will be shared in the coming days as part of efforts to streamline travel documentation and address gender-based discrimination concerns. The decision is seen as a progressive step towards more equitable visa procedures for Nigerians traveling abroad. If Kenneth can hear me, I'd like to bring him in on this story first, talking about the NDLEA removing spousal support for visa clearance. This is actually for married women. Yes, this is actually for married women.
It's a good development, but I wonder what inspired that. Is it that they want to give women freedom to do without their husbands, or maybe they think that the husbands have been caged, they have so much power? Or I think it's actually good.
But should the women really should they really need spousal support to travel? From your own thoughts.
Well, I want to really know why is that an issue, or maybe
it was stated. Some people have said it was some people have talked about gender discrimination as something that they should look at, and they already stated that because of these reasons they had to take it off.
It's much more of the freedom. Maybe they want them to have a bit of the freedom.
You don't want women to have freedom?
Yeah, that is what I just feel, because I don't once you have a husband and a wife, the Bible has made it to believe that you guys are now one, not two. 1 + 1 is 1, not 1 + 1. So this thing that somebody can just wake up one day, maybe a wife, and decide without their husband has proved her, and she goes. And I want to prove another. So once they are both an item, it's a spousal thing. The two can agree on what to do. Okay, so what must it be the woman asking for that? It can go pari passu, vice versa. The man actually seek the consent, and
Now, why people talked about this? Okay.
Let us make that balance. To me.
Okay. All right. Why people talked about this being discriminatory is because it's just for married women. They need the support of their spouse to travel for the visa clearance. But then what about the men? People have asked questions like that. Does the married man also need the, support of his wife for his visa clearance? And these are cases and these are topics that have been raised concerning this. But then, okay, yes, I see Kenneth still wants to say something to that.
Yeah, yes, this is like a family affair, Moko. A family affair. Maybe the person that is doing this all has been discriminated when married by a husband.
A lot of women. A lot of women see it that way. People have been advocating against that particular clause in the visa clearance process.
Yes,
but we are on what you think, right? We're not really talking about what other people think now. We are talking about what you think, yes, about this.
What I think in this is that there should be a balance. There should be a balance to the woman should have the consent of her husband, and the husband should have the consent of the wife before anything can happen based on this regard. Okay,
so they should bring it back. They've taken it off. They should return it.
Yeah, that's what.
So you don't want your wife to travel without your consent. I see some personal. Let's say you're bringing yourself into this clause.
Okay. It should be a consensual arrangement. It should be something that we need to agree together.
Okay.
Once they don't do it like that, they can't be law and order. There will be a total anarchy. So why we have to society? You know, this thing about education and being at school, it has its own advantages. You know, there must be a way where you can hold them to that can get. Because they say when one man's law stops, that is where another man's law starts from. So there should be like a balance to this thing. Let's have a central balance and protect.
All right, let's know where we are going. Thank you. Let's bring Loveday into this conversation. We have really cracked you up.
Yeah, for me, is a laudable initiative. You know, just like you asked, that's the question that has been on my mind from when the story was reviewed. How about the man? How about the male gender? What happened? Is there any balance, like the man must approve the wife's traveling?
Or the woman must approve her husband's travel?
The woman, you know, so there should be, if prior to this time, nothing like that, of course, nothing like that, is only the man that will have to, you know, approve. Then that's high level of discrimination, and Nigeria is growing. We're advancing, you know. Coming to the point of removing that particular clause by the NDLEA, for me, is a commendable and a progressive gesture. Now, it should be something like this. If the country that, you know, the spouse want to get to requires that, then the man can give. If the country also requires that from the man, your woman, we need a consent from your wife, that's fine. But for the Nigerian drug law enforcement agencies to now have it as their as one of their criteria or requirement before they will certify you okay, you know, to travel, for me is high level of gender insensitivity and discrimination. So I commend the gesture. That means Nigeria, thank God today is International Girl Child Day. I was even wondering if that's the reason, maybe that's part of what prompted, you know, the organization to come into this particular point. So it's a very good one, and that shouldn't make some women to begin to use that to threaten their husband. You know, because you can now skate through, you know, you can just travel without your husband consent. But if that happens, that means something is wrong at the home front. For instance, I shouldn't be scared of my wife if she wants to make move. If you're in charge of your home and you're doing what is expected of you, and both of you are working as one, there shouldn't be anything that will take you unaware or by surprise. So the point of consensus must be there. But once you see this issue of, you know, fear for threat or expecting the unexpected from the female folk or from the wife comes in, that means the husband has also missed something in that particular relationship.
Can I talk about anarchy, that it could cause a riot in the house?
It could, but before getting to that point, that means there is something that has not been going on well at the home front. There has been a crack already in that particular family. Otherwise, I see no reason, because even before the wife will finally decide, both the man and the woman must have come together. But the point, when it gets to the point where the man and the woman cannot sit and talk about it, and the woman wants to do it on something has actually gone wrong. Either the woman is no longer comfortable with that marriage, and that is one of the reasons I also endorse this particular policy, because I don't believe that so because you are married, even when the thing is not working, your husband wants to kill you, or being caged as a woman, you should die there. Then tomorrow they celebrate you on social media. I don't subscribe to that. So there should be freedom when it comes to the woman folk. But the women should not also forget that this is Nigeria and this is Africa. You know, that regard, that honor for the man, you know, going by what the Bible states, that the woman...
For Christians.
Pardon?
For Christians.
Yeah, for Christians, of course. You know, yeah, for Christians. You know, going by that. So it shouldn't be a situation where the women will not just take advantage and then move. But on a general note, I want to commend the gesture. It's a very good one. It shows that Nigeria, we are advancing, and it will give room for development. And then for those men that doesn't know how to manage their family and protect their wife very well,
talk to them.
Then it is now a signal. If you know that your wife has the capacity to travel without your consent, then you should begin to do the needful and show her love. So the thought of leaving you won't just come in.
Oh, okay. So when you show her love, that's how to manage your home.
Definitely. You know, it's a major challenge when it comes to the male angle now. That's for those of us from the Christian background. That's one of one of the requirements of keeping your home, and that's what God expects you as the man to do.
Okay.
The love thing is the main thing. God expects men, and it's a difficult task, and that's why God said, men, love your wife. God didn't say women love. He said men love.
I didn't know it was a difficult task for men to
no,
love.
very, very difficult. It is not easy for men to love.
Really?
Sure.
But
so,
for we who are not married, it seems very easy for these guys to love. Does it mean that it's only after marriage that it's no longer easy?
See, you know, when you follow, I'm talking from the biblical point of view now.
And from experience.
From experience, yeah.
Okay.
When you critically, if you want to adhere strictly to what love entails, coming from the biblical point of view and from experience, you discover that it is not easy to love. I'm telling you. So, for men that are married and they feel like you can just treat your wife anyhow, I believe this will be a kind of checkmating tool to help curtail some of those excesses.
I assume that Kenneth Eze is learning so much because I haven't heard his voice. It looks like he's taking notes. Kenneth?
Yes, I'm really enjoying love his perspective, where it's coming from. He's trying to create a balance with this thing.
Okay.
You know, but like I said, there are some things that shouldn't be tampered with. You know, like he said that the Bible tells the man to love the wife, then the woman should submit to the wife. So they are the woman has a different way to play. If the Bible says that the man should love the wife as Christ has loved the church, so it means that there are rules to this thing. If they say let the woman take clearance from the husband before she leaves any country or leaves the world, it is how things. You know, there is a reason for doing that. That is why our culture, the culture is the way of life. We can't come and say now we are trying to take balance that the woman will start taking people out. Or woman should start starting from one. Or woman should start doing this thing because we're trying to create a balance. No. You know, I understand everybody has their own opinion, but I'm of the school of thoughts that believe that different strokes for different folks. Okay. So if a woman is supposed to take clearance from the husband, so be it. Let's be like that. You know, the husband is supposed to do the love, but that doesn't mean that the man or the husband should start lording it over the wife.
But do you also think while that is being done, the man should also get support from his wife to enable the process of the visa clearance?
That is what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay.
Before the man is the head, the woman is the man.
All right.
So they are both controlling the room.
All right. Thank you so much, Kenneth Eze, for that one. Thank you, Love Day, for your thoughts. We'll go on a short break now, a very short one, and then we'll be back to continue our other conversations on other topics. Please stay with us on ATN. We appreciate you for staying right here with us. Thank you once again. Let's move on to our next story. There's something that has been on for some time in Nigeria, and this has really stressed a lot of Nigerians. So finally, the NCC, Nigerian Communications Commission, has announced the completion of the National Identification Number Subscriber Identity Module. That's the NIN/SIM linkage for all phone numbers in Nigeria. So this seems like something that should call for celebration. Despite challenges that faced during the implementation, the initiative ensures that every phone number is now linked to a verified NIN, enhancing security and user verification nationwide, according to NCC Executive Vice Chairman Aminu Maida.
Laudable. It's a very wonderful initiative that has been executed finally. You know, Nigerians have waited so long. In fact, I, for one, have forgotten about it. After getting my name, I never thought that we'll come to this point. Yeah, we have heard the announcement, and I want to commend the federal government for completing this particular task. We are happy with it.
All right. Kenneth.
Yeah. You know, this is good. This is good, but I want to ask, does it mean that we won't have already registered SIM card so? Because yes, it's a good question. Let's monitor. This is the idea is good, it's fantastic. It's going to curb the rate of insecurity, cybercrime, and all that. But I just want to ask, let's be sure, let's know what we are doing. Does it mean that if someone wants to go and buy an already registered SIM card, the person will be able to find it in the market or anywhere?
Oh, you're actually asking? No, go on.
That should be a question that we should ask the NCC to be sure, because you can't. These private vendors, these people around, I know what and how they have been going about with these things. You know, they normally sell registered SIM cards. You know, and if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected. You will still see somebody going to buy a registered SIM card. So how do they do that? Does it mean that somebody uses one name to register multiple SIM cards to sell? So if this is me, let's see to make sure what they have done is perfect. It's a lot.
Yeah, I was to come to that too. Yeah, the issue of you know, one person or somebody purchasing a SIM card without undertaking the normal registration process. We have seen that. I think there was a time I even got a SIM, and then somebody will be calling me, another person will be picking something, like some of those network issues. So we have also noticed challenge with this particular initiative, and that's where we want the NCC to come in. The thumb printing should be judiciously utilized. They should make use of the thumb printing system or approach. For instance, if I get a SIM card and I thumb print, another person shouldn't come, you know, to make use of my BVN. They shouldn't be able to use my BVN to produce a SIM or to sell SIM to another person with different thumb print. So there is a kind of lacuna reconciling this. So that's one area that will have challenge. But I believe the system will always be upgraded. Once new persons get SIM card, there will be time, maybe after 6 months or 1 year, the NCC will also upgrade their database. But so far, I believe from 2020 to probably 2023, I'm sure, or maybe 2024, or up to date before the announcement, I'm sure they have been able to cover all registered SIM card. And of course, it is verified SIM card. So SIM card that are not verified, You can't find that in NCC database. So anyone using that particular SIM card, it simply means that you're a fraudster. You're doing something very illegal, and law enforcement agency can go after the person.
All right, and also being able to buy somebody's number. Sometimes it looks like, yes, it looks like it's the company that gets to sell off the number.
Exactly.
But now the question is, while you sell off that number, was it re-registered? The new person buying it, the new buyer, did he register it again? Or it's the same registration of the old buyer? Because there was once when somebody was added to a group chat on WhatsApp, and on someone else's phone, it was showing another person's name that he knows. So he had already saved that person's number. So it happened to be that the new person bought a SIM card of somebody he knows. So all of that drama and all of that. Let's talk about the fuel hike that's going on in Nigeria. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association Nigeria, IPMAN, led by the national president, Abubakar Shatima, has called on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, to sell premium motor spirits, that is petrol, at rates that are similar to those that are offered by Dangote Petroleum Refinery. In a report that was made available to newsmen, Shatima highlighted a significant financial strain on petroleum marketers due to delayed refunds from NNPC, which have been outstanding for nearly 3 months. He demanded immediate action from NNPC, urging them to either adjust their prices or return the owed funds. Shatima expressed frustration over NNPC's pricing strategy, which requires marketers to purchase petrol at higher rates than those from Dangote Refinery. He noted that NNPC has instructed IPMAN members to buy petrol at prices ranging from 1,010 naira in Lagos, 1,050 naira in Port Harcourt, while Dangote sells at a lower price. Shatima has emphasized the need for transparency and fairness, suggesting that if INEC insists on these prices, they should allow marketers to go directly to Dangote to buy. This whole thing has been a back and forth conversation that is becoming confusing to some Nigerians. Just a few days ago, we heard stories about the NNPC now saying that marketers can now go. And that's the second time that statement is being made. And now marketers are saying, allow us buy from Dangote. So what is going on?
It's obvious that what they are releasing on air, what they are telling the media houses, what they are telling Nigerians is not what is obtainable. That's not the actual thing that is going on. You know, and when I saw that story, I was actually asking myself, why Port Harcourt 1,050 naira? Why Port Harcourt too high?
Why is it higher than Lagos?
Why is it higher than
Because
Lagos?
It has to be transported here. That's what we're told.
You know, so the issue of fuel hike, Nigerians have lamented over it, and people have been so much worried about the development in that particular sector.
Okay.
And coming to hear that NNPC has refused or is not willing to sell at a reasonable price or price similar to what Dangote is giving them, the question is, where are we heading to? Do the government actually wants the survival of the people? If you know that you want to make huge profit and you are not ready to come to the point where the masses will benefit from what Dangote is the petrol Dangote is producing, then allow competition. Okay, allow every person to assess the market and then sell. Why the government help to regulate the price? Okay. Then that should be the point, rather than you taking up the product and then trying to now demand. These people are private business owners too, and they want to make profit. So you will not make the... And believe me, at the end of the day, they will face serious pressure from the masses. So it's a simple thing. If you know that you're not ready to help the masses, allow the independent marketers to assess Dangote products directly. And then, even the 900 naira we're hearing, that's what NNPC is buying from Dangote or thereabout, is still high. The government needs to even do more.
Okay, so remember, the government has told us, one of the stories that we discussed yesterday, that NNPC is a private entity. So they are not in charge of, you know, talking about fixing the price that NNPC will get to sell at the end of the day. But let's bring Kenneth Eze to this conversation.
But it's regulated by the nation. Is it not a national company?
Okay, seems Kenneth is having issues with network. Yes, you made a statement.
Yes, I said NNPC is, you said is a private company, but the government has major role to play. The government has a major stake in NNPC, and that is why Nigerians looks at the NNPC like the government. So it's not out of place if we refer to NNPC as the government.
Okay.
Yes, because they are in charge of that particular sector. They are the ones that, if NNPC is a private, then allow that private marketers to access the product. Who are we deceiving? It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. So the fuel hike, we have come to the point where the whole thing is becoming, for me, is becoming clearer. It's becoming, the interest of the federal government in this particular issue is far, far high, too extreme, to the point that it seems they don't even want to understand what the consumers, what the masses. Of course, I had to leave the filling station 2 days ago angrily, because I went to the filling station with the mindset of getting fuel at 1,050 naira where I normally get fuel. Only to get to that point, I was hearing 1,350 naira.
Wow.
And I was asking, I zoomed off. I went to park the car. No, so people are having serious challenges when it comes to this. So there should be a stable price. Let our government try to stabilize this thing, and then so that the country can move forward.
Abubakar Kwedo, the first prosecuting witness in trial of former Power Minister Saleh Maman, testified at the Federal High Court in Abuja that Maman allegedly used funds from the Mambila Hydro Project to purchase properties in Kado Estate and Wusetu, Abuja. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting Maman on 12 counts related to conspiracy and money laundering involving 33.8 billion naira. During the hearing, Kwedo explained that funds intended for the project were diverted through entities connected to Maman, which he denied knowledge of, claiming his assistant handled financial matters. The EFCC recovered foreign currencies and documents from Maman's residence linked to the alleged diversion. Among the evidence presented were payment vouchers and documents of Abangos Nigeria Limited, a firm that's allegedly used in the scheme. The trial will continue on October 23. Now, not to focus so much on this particular trial, because this case is in court currently, but let's look at how ex-office holders are being held responsible for their actions in Nigeria.
You know, hearing this is something that should give more life to Nigerians. But we only pray that it shouldn't be bastardized, or we believe that the court will actually deliver accordingly based on their findings.
Okay.
Hearing 33.8 billion, do you know what that can cost? Do you know the transformation that particular amount? 33.8 billion naira. One man attempted. Well, I believe the matter is still under, probably under investigation. The court is still handling it. But let it not be true. But from the story so far, my mom trying to excuse himself and then pushing it to his aide that he was the one handling financial tells you that there is something fishy. It's an interesting story, and we'll keep following up and then see how the court and relevant agencies handles the matter at the end of the day. It's also a wake-up call to all public office holders. You know, while you're in office, you should be very much careful. Don't over-abrogate power to yourself, and don't feel that like nothing will happen, because the government that can come in tomorrow may be a very decisive and strict government that will want to check what has happened previously. And once you're found wanting, believe me, the law will have its course. So people should live up to expectation and do what they're expected to do. Administer the particular assignment you're being given as required by the ministry, and let your account be very straight and open, so that whenever they call upon you, you can stand boldly and express yourself without being scared of anything. So it's a wake-up call for all public office holders, because the money that they are managing is not their individual fund. It doesn't matter how long it has stayed. I believe somebody can invoke a matter that has lasted for more than 4, 5, 6 years. I can assume position today, and if there's a particular policy or something that happened when I wasn't in office and I didn't feel very okay with it, and if I get to office tomorrow, I may decide, except there is a law that says after so and so number of years you have no right to. So people should be very much careful with the way they manage public fund.
You know, I asked you earlier, how well do we really hold these people accountable, especially the ex-office holders?
Prior to this time, I think is very slim. The tendency of, you know, punishing.
Sorry to cut you there. It looks like we have Kenneth back. Kenneth, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let's get your thoughts on this particular conversation. How well do you think that we hold ex-office holders accountable for their actions while in office?
Okay. Like we're talking about the political office, or
Yes, please.
I think we, like I said before, I said good followership is good leadership. The role of the citizen is not being played very well by us citizens. We don't demand so much from our leaders. That is why they do whatever they do, because nobody will ask them questions, nobody will question them, nobody will insist that they do the right things. So I believe we have not been doing so much on us as citizens, because we believe that our leaders are just there to push points, recycle money, so that to just continue.
Wow.
And some persons will be thinking, okay, if it gets to my turn, that is what I will do also. That is how it is going. So we need to really work more on that. Thank you.
All right. Loveday, do you feel like the citizens have actually gotten to that point where everybody is now thinking, not everybody, but some people are now thinking of their own turn and what they would do?
Yeah, that's what an average Nigeria is waiting for. Apart from those of them with advanced or different mentality altogether, those that are sole committed in developing the people and their area. Otherwise, looking at what has been going on right from the democratical era, you discover that it's like once it gets to your turn, you just pack and go. But that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that and shouldn't continue. Talking of accountability, like you were asking, Nigerians need to wake up. Nigerians, I think the era of allowing public office holder, our politicians to just do the way they want, I think that era is gone.
Right.
People should wake up and demand for their right. Let's hold them accountable. They may decide to do or not to do, but let it be that people are saying something, the people are demanding for their right. This is what should be done. I think with that, we will have a serious adjustment from the political leaders.
All right, at this point, I would like to thank my guest, Loveday Operum, for joining us today on Atlantic Blowout.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. And I must also thank Kenneth Eze for joining us. Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you so much, Percy. Thank you for me.
All right. And big thanks to you, our viewer, for being part of this conversation. Remember, we are on your socials, Facebook, YouTube. Check us up on Atlantic Television Network, Instagram, TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X at Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. My name is Enidoye Jackson, and coming up next is Open Conversation. Please stay with us.